What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 95 of the Idiotic Sports Talk. I'm your host, Liam Gavin, coming to you live from my dining room. And today I just want to give an NFL Week 15 recap. So let's start with the Thursday night game. We have the Chiefs beating the Chargers in a thriller. In overtime, the Chiefs won 34-28. Patrick Mahomes, 410 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, an interception, and a fumble. Travis Kelce, 10 catches, 191 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And as for wide receiver Tyreek Hill, 12 catches, 148 yards, and a touchdown. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert, 236 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, and a rushing touchdown. Keenan Allen, 6 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown. And Austin Eckler had a rushing touchdown on the night. So the Chiefs got a big win to win their 7th game in a row, and they are now 10-4 in the AFC West. Mahomes, Kelce, and Hill, they all went off that night, and they definitely are reclaiming that spot as the best trio in the league. And, the Chargers, they played pretty well, too. You can't knock them. They ran the ball really efficiently, but they couldn't get the win when it mattered most. They got too cute, and they tried going for it on 4th down a lot, and they failed a lot of their conversions. And Travis Kelce, the Chargers defense just had absolute no answers for Travis Kelce. He ate their defense alive, and now the Chargers are 8-6. Next is the Saturday game. We have the Colts beating the Patriots 27-20. Carson Wentz, 57 passing yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Jonathan Taylor, 170 rushing yards plus a rushing touchdown. And the rookie quarterback, Mac Jones, 299 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. And tight end Hunter Henry, 6 catches, 77 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So the Colts snapped the Patriots' 7-game winning streak and moved to 8-6 on the season. And they got it done with their rushing attack. I told you guys, all it takes is one huge run by Jonathan Taylor, and that's it. And that's exactly what happened towards the end of the game. The Colts were up by 3. They hand it to Taylor, and he breaks it off for about a 60-yard run. And Belichick, he was beat at his own game, which was running the ball and chewing the clock. And the Colts defense made Mac Jones look like the rookie he is. And shout out to the Colts special teams, too. They came through with a huge blocked punt for a touchdown. Patriots now fall to 9-5 on the season. As for the Sunday games, we have the Steelers beating the Titans 19-13. Ben Roethlisberger, 148 passing yards, no touchdowns or interceptions, and he did have a rushing touchdown. Deontay Johnson, 5 catches for 38 yards. He was the only offensive standout that day on the Steelers. And as for Ryan Tannehill of the Titans, 153 passing yards, no touchdowns, threw an interception. He also fumbled, and he had a rushing touchdown as well. And Deontay Foreman had 108 rushing yards on the day. So the Steelers get a big win to go to 7-6-1 on the season. And their offense was non-existent, but their defense had a great game. Their defense was able to have an interception, 3 forced fumbles, and 4 sacks. The Titans were up 13-3. They were up by 10 points majority of the game, but they blew it. And the Titans offense, they continue to struggle, especially without Derrick Henry there. Titans now go to 9-5 on the season. Next is the Bills beating the Panthers 31-14. Josh Allen, 210 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Gabriel Davis, 5 catches, 85 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Stephon Diggs, 4 catches, 35 yards, and a touchdown for him. And Cam Newton of the Panthers, 156 passing yards, a touchdown, an interception, and a rushing touchdown. And DJ Moore, 6 catches for 48 yards. So the Bills get a much-needed win to go to 8-6 on the season. Josh Allen and the Buffalo offense played pretty good. They didn't really turn the ball over that much. And the Bills defense also made plays when it mattered. The Panthers, they just continue to play poorly. They've now lost 4 straight games, and they go to 5-9 on the season. Next is the Texans beating the Jaguars 30-16. The rookie Davis Mills, 209 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Brandon Cooks, 7 catches, 102 yards, and 2 TDs. And as for rookie Trevor Lawrence, 210 passing yards, no touchdowns or interceptions. And James Robinson, 75 rushing yards, and a touchdown. So the Texans sweep the Jags on the season and move to a 3-11 record. The rookie Davis Mills, he played pretty well. And as for Brandon Cooks, he absolutely torched the Jaguars defense. And even with Urban Meyer gone, the Jaguars still lose. But it was refreshing to see James Robinson active again, see him get the ball and see him score. The Jaguars are now 2-12 on the season. Next is the Dallas Cowboys taking care of business against the Giants, 21-6. Dak Prescott, 217 passing yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, but he did fumble the ball. Tight end Dalton Schultz, 8 catches, 67 yards, and a touchdown. And Zeke Elliott had a rushing touchdown on the day. As for Giants quarterback Mike Glennon, 99 passing yards, no touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Saquon Barkley, 50 rushing yards, 4 catches for 24 yards, and he did fumble. So the Cowboys sweep the Giants on the year and move to 10-4. The offense still bothers me, but the defense has been absolutely on fire. They've been bailing out the offense these last few games. And the Giants just continue to play awful. I really have nothing much to say about them. They go to 4-10 on the season. Next is the Lions beating the Cardinals 30-12 like we all predicted, right? We all predicted that the Lions were going to smoke them. Jared Goff, 216 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Craig Reynolds, 112 rushing yards on the day. And the rookie, Amon-Ra St. Brown, continuing to impress, 8 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown. As for quarterback Kyler Murray, he had 257 passing yards, a touchdown, and an interception. And Christian Kirk, 9 catches, 94 yards, and a touchdown. So the Lions get a huge upset victory and are now 2 wins, 11 losses, and 1 tie on the season. Jared Goff played one of his best games this year. And what we witnessed was the type of potential the Lions have. They always lose really close games. You know, this team could be a 7-win team, but unfortunately, it just hasn't gone their way this year. And the Cardinals and Kyler Murray, you know, they struggled the last couple games. And no DeAndre Hopkins out there really showed. It showed a lot of problems for Arizona. The Cardinals now move to 10-4 on the season. Next is the Dolphins beating the Jets 31-24. Tua Tagovailoa, 196 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Duke Johnson, 107 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns for him. And Devontae Parker, 4 catches, 68 yards, and a touchdown. As for the rookie, Zach Wilson, 170 passing yards, no touchdowns or interceptions. He had a rushing TD, but he also fumbled the ball. And Jamison Crowder, 5 catches for 40 yards. So the Dolphins sweep the Jets and now have won 6 straight games and are 7-7 on the season. Tua in the offense struggled at times, but the defense came through with 7 sacks. And the Jets defense made some nice plays on Sunday too, including a pick 6. However, the Jets offense was just awful, and the Jets are now 3-11 on the season. Next is the Bengals beating the Broncos 15-10. Joe Burrow, 157 passing yards, a touchdown, and no interceptions. Tyler Boyd, 5 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown. Teddy Bridgewater threw for 98 yards. He didn't throw a touchdown, didn't throw an interception, but he did leave the game with a concussion. So Drew Lock comes in, throws for 88 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions, but he did fumble the ball. And Tim Patrick had 3 catches for 42 yards and a touchdown as well. So the Bengals get a much-needed win and stay alive in the playoff race to move to 8-6 on the season. Joe Burrow did a great job protecting the ball. Lately, he's been having issues with turnovers, but that wasn't the case on Sunday. And Teddy Bridgewater left hurt. Man, I just feel so bad for him. Speedy recovery. It's like he can never get over the injury bug, and it's really sad. Broncos now move to 7-7 on the season. Next is the Niners beating up the Falcons 31-13. Jimmy Garoppolo, 235 passing yards, a touchdown, and no interceptions. Jeff Wilson, 110 rushing yards and a touchdown. And George Kittle, 6 catches for 93 yards. And Deebo Samuel, the Swiss Army knife, has a rushing touchdown. Another rushing touchdown, his 7th on the season, and he's a wide receiver. As for quarterback Matt Ryan, 236 passing yards, a touchdown, no interceptions, and he did fumble the ball. Russell Gage, 8 catches, 91 yards, and a touchdown. He's been having a quiet, good season this year. He's been going off the last couple weeks. So the Niners cruise past the Falcons and move to an 8-6 record. The Niners rushing attack got the job done with 162 total rushing yards. And the Niners defense made it tough on the Falcons offense. You know, they had some good coverage. They were getting in Matt Ryan's face a lot. They were delivering a lot of pressure. And the Falcons defense, they just couldn't stop the run at all. And the Falcons run game, they just weren't there at all that afternoon. The Falcons fall to 6-8 on the season. Next, we have the Packers beating the Ravens 31-30. Aaron Rodgers, 268 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, 5 catches, 98 yards, and a touchdown. Devontae Adams, 6 catches, 44 yards, and a touchdown. As for Ravens quarterback Tyler Huntley, 215 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Mark Andrews, 10 catches, 136 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Hollywood Brown, 10 catches for 43 yards. So the Packers pull off a close win on the road to go to 11-3. Rodgers continues to play at an MVP level, and John Harbaugh, instead of going for the extra point to tie it, he tries going for 2 again, and it fails them again. It's like, what are they doing? They have arguably the greatest kicker ever to come in and kick an extra point. Send the game to OT. I get it, there'd be 40 seconds left on the clock. You give the ball back to Rodgers, but the defense, honestly, for how depleted they were and how injured they were, really weren't doing that bad. So despite the L, Tyler Huntley looked absolutely amazing out there. You know, he learned a lot from Lamar Jackson. He has the same play style as Lamar, and he's been doing really well. He has a bright future moving ahead. The Ravens are now 8-6 on the season and have lost 3 straight. Next is the Saints shutting out the Bucs 9-0. Taysom Hill, 154 passing yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Marquez Callaway, 6 catches for 112 yards. And Tom Brady, 214 passing yards, no touchdowns. He did throw an interception and he did fumble the ball. And Chris Godwin was his main receiver that game, 6 catches for 49 yards. So the Saints shut out and sweep the Bucs and now have a 7-7 record. This is the second straight year that the Saints were able to sweep the Bucs. Sean Payton, he played a real conservative game, and it worked. I mean, you saw times where, you know, they were there on 4th and short, and they would just kick the field goal. You know, most teams nowadays, they try to get too cute, and they try going for it on 4th down all the time, and it doesn't work. Just take the points, and that's why Sean Payton's a great coach. He understands the game, and because of that, they won. The Bucs, on the other hand, they lost receiver Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and they lost their running back Leonard Fournette, all in one game with injuries. Tom Brady, this was his first time being shut out since 2006. So that's 15 years that a Tom Brady offense has not gotten any points. The Bucs are now 10-4 on the season. Next, we go into the Monday games. We have the Raiders taking on the Browns. This game was supposed to be scheduled for Saturday, but it got moved to Monday because of COVID and all of those protocols. So the Raiders beat the Browns 16-14. Derek Carr, 236 passing yards, a touchdown, an interception, and fumbled. Zay Jones was his main receiver with 6 catches for 67 yards. Nick Mullins for the Browns threw for 147 yards, a touchdown, and no interceptions, and Nick Chubb, 91 rushing yards and a touchdown. The Raiders moved to 7-7 on the season, and they stay alive in the playoff race with this win. And I don't know about you, but to me, it just seems like the Raiders can only win when their opponents are all beat up and injured and they're playing third-string guys. But hey, a win is a win, right? And Nick Mullins, he wasn't expected to start at all, but he played pretty good. I mean, you know, Baker was out. I thought Case Keenum was going to start, but he was out too. So in comes Nick Mullins, and he didn't do that bad. The Browns are now 7-7 on the season. Next is the Vikings beating the Bears 17-9. Kirk Cousins, 87 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Justin Jefferson, 4 catches, 47 yards, and a touchdown. And as for rookie Justin Fields, 285 passing yards, a touchdown, no interceptions, but he did fumble the ball. And Cole Kmet, the tight end, 6 catches for 71 yards. So the Vikings stay alive in the playoff race and move to 7-7. Kirk Cousins and the offense did not look that great. But the Vikings defense, you know, they had 3 sacks and 3 forced fumbles. And the Bears, they just continue to look awful. Matt Nagy needs to be fired immediately. And the Bears are eliminated from the playoffs with this loss and move to 4-10 on the season. Next is the Tuesday games. These 2 games I'm about to talk about should have been played, but because of COVID again and everything, they had to get moved. So we have the Eagles beating the Washington football team 27-17. Jalen Hurts, 296 passing yards, a touchdown, an interception, a fumble, but he did have 2 rushing touchdowns. Miles Sanders, 131 rushing yards, and the tight end Dallas Goedert, 7 catches for 135 yards. Garrett Gilbert started for the Washington football team. He had 194 passing yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. And Antonio Gibson, 26 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown, and he also had 6 catches for 39 yards. So the Eagles get a win, and they move to 7-7 on the season. They were down 10-0, but they were able to rally and outscore the Washington football team 27-7 for the remainder of the game. Jalen Hurts broke the Eagles' quarterback rushing touchdown record with 10 rushing touchdowns. Previous record was held by Michael Vick with 9 rushing touchdowns. And Garrett Gilbert wasn't expected to start. Taylor Heineke was out. Kyle Allen was out. So in comes Gilbert, and he didn't do that bad of a job. The Washington football team just could not stop the run to save their lives, and they moved to 6-8 on the season. The final game of the week was the Rams beating the Seahawks 20-10. Matt Stafford, 244 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Cooper Kupp, 9 catches, 136 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And as for Russell Wilson, 156 passing yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. DK Metcalf, 6 catches for 52 yards. So the Rams sweep the Seahawks on the season and move to 10-4. Cooper Kupp absolutely abused the Seahawks defense. I had to play him in fantasy football. He's a big reason why I got eliminated from the first round of the playoffs this year. So screw you, Cooper Kupp, but damn, you're good. Russell Wilson and the Seahawks offense, they just looked absolutely terrible, like they have all season. And are Russell Wilson's best days behind him? Maybe he just needs a change of scenery and another team. Or he just needs an offensive line, because their offensive line is absolutely horrendous. So the Seahawks move to 5-9 on the season. So that's it for the Week 15 recap. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Do what you can to promote my page. Like my content. Share my content. Do whatever you can to promote me. Thank you all, and have a wonderful day.